If you've been dealing with tinnitus, that constant ringing or buzzing in your ears, you've probably stumbled across YouTube videos and websites promising that binaural beats can cure it. Maybe you've seen titles like Miracle Tinnitus Relief in 10 minutes or less, or Retrain Your Brain to Silence Your Tinnitus Forever. And look, I do get why these claims can be so appealing. When you're lying in bed and all you can hear is that relentless ringing, you try just about anything for relief. And that desperation is exactly what these binaural beat sellers are counting on. Here's the truth, I wish it were that simple. But the reality is that binaural beats are not a proven treatment for tinnitus. And I'm going to show you exactly why using the actual research. I'm Dr. Len Garrett, founder of Timpanogos Hearing and Tinnitus in Utah. And in our clinic, we've helped people find relief from their tinnitus for over 20 years. And in those 2 decades, I've seen every trend, every fad, and every miracle cure that's come along. Binaural beats are just the latest in a long line of overhyped treatments. And after all those years in this field and treating those thousands of patients, I can tell you that you deserve better than false hope and empty promises. Let's talk about what the research really says, and then I'll tell you about treatments that actually have solid evidence behind them. First, what are binaural beats? Now that's actually a pretty interesting question from a neuroscience perspective. When you play 2 slightly different frequencies into each ear through headphones, say 200 Hz in your left ear and 210 Hz in your right ear, your brain perceives a third tone at the difference between them, in this case a 10 Hz beat. This isn't magic, it's a real auditory phenomenon that happens right in your brainstem where signals from both ears meet. Your brain literally creates this beat frequency that doesn't exist in the real world. Now this leads to something called brainwave entrainment. The theory is that your brain's electrical activity can sync up with these different beats. Different frequencies supposedly put you into different mental states. Alpha waves for relaxation and focus, theta waves for deep meditation, delta waves for sleep, and beta waves for alertness. The idea for tinnitus treatment goes like this. If we can tune your brain to more relaxed frequencies, maybe we can disrupt the abnormal neural activity causing your tinnitus, help you to habituate to it faster, and just reduce the stress and anxiety that makes the tinnitus work. Some proponents even claim that the beats can retrain your auditory cortex to stop generating the phantom sound. On paper, that sounds logical. The mechanism is plausible. That's exactly why this sells so well online. But here's where we need to pump the brakes a little bit, because plausible doesn't mean proven. When you search for binaural beats and tinnitus, you'll find websites making absolutely wild claims. I've seen sites that say binaural beats are more powerful than cognitive behavioral therapy for tinnitus, or that they can cure tinnitus when conventional sound treatments fail. Some sell tinnitus relief packs, usually just the audio files with preset frequencies from anywhere from $30 to $100. Here's the problem. These are massive red flags, and I want to break down exactly why. Red flag number 1 is the word cure. No study, and I mean 0 peer-reviewed studies, have shown binaural beats can cure tinnitus. At absolute best, some small studies show they might reduce how much it bothers you for a few weeks. That's a galaxy away from a cure. Red flag number 2, cherry-picking the research. These sites will mention one positive pilot study, but conveniently ignore that the same study concluded this needs way more research before we can recommend it clinically. And red flag number 3, testimonials over data. Scroll through these websites and you'll see stories like it cured my tinnitus in 1 week, but anecdotes are not evidence. Number 4, misusing science jargon. They'll throw around terms like brainwave entrainment, frequency following response, and neuroplasticity to sound credible. According to research, about 30 to 45% of tinnitus-related content on social media contains misinformation or unsubstantiated claims. Binaural beats are a perfect example of this problem. Before we dive into what the research actually says, if you appreciate straight talk about tinnitus, no gimmicks, no sales pitches, hit that like button and subscribe. Every week, I break down the science between hearing and tinnitus treatments so you can make decisions based on facts, not internet hype. Okay, so what does the actual science say? There have been some legitimate studies on binaural beats for tinnitus, And I want to be completely fair here. I'm not going to dismiss the research just because it doesn't support my argument. Let's look at the positive findings first. A 2022 randomized control trial studied 60 military personnel with noise-induced tinnitus. They compared alpha-frequency binaural beats in music versus music alone. After 1 month, the binaural beat group had significantly better improvements in their tinnitus handicap inventory scores. A 2023 pilot study with 17 chronic tinnitus patients had them listen to binaural beats daily for a month. They found reduction in tinnitus loudness and annoyance ratings, plus measurable changes in brain activity. And a 2025 study from India compared delta and alpha binaural beats to a standard white noise masker. Both binaural beat groups showed greater improvements in their tinnitus than the masker groups. So yes, there are positive findings. But now let's talk about why these studies don't justify the hype. Problem number 1, their sample sizes are tiny. Problem number 2, they lack proper control groups. Problem number 3, short follow-up periods. Problem number 4, their results are very inconsistent. And problem number 5, even the researchers are urging caution about these findings. The bottom line, binaural beats might help some people feel a little more relaxed or slightly less bothered by their tinnitus, similar to any other calming sound. But when we're talking about marginal, inconsistent effects, that's a far cry from the miracle cures that are being promised on YouTube. So if binaural beats aren't the answer, what is? Let me tell you about the treatments that actually have solid, science-backed evidence behind them. First up is hearing aids. If you have hearing loss, and 90% of tinnitus sufferers do, hearing aids are huge. They amplify real-world sounds, mask tinnitus, and reduce auditory deprivation, causing the tinnitus. Studies show that somewhere between 60 and 80% of patients get relief from hearing aids alone. Then there's cognitive behavioral therapy. This doesn't reduce the tinnitus volume, but it changes how you react to it. Multiple studies and meta-analyses have shown that cognitive behavioral therapy significantly improves the quality of life and reduces tinnitus distress. It's one of the few approaches consistently backed by evidence. Then there's tinnitus retraining therapy, which includes sound therapy and counseling over 12 months or so. It helps your brain reclassify tinnitus as unimportant background noise. It takes time, but it works for many people. And then there's bimodal neuromodulation. This is the big breakthrough. Devices like Linear combine sound stimulation with gentle electrical pulses to the tongue. The TENT-A3 trial led to the FDA approval in 2023, showing that nearly 80% of users had meaningful improvement in their tinnitus when using Linear. Peer-reviewed, controlled, and safe. That's real science. This is what strong evidence looks like. Multi-site trials, double-blind controls, peer-reviewed publications, FDA approval, and showing sustained benefits. That's the difference between bimodal neuromodulation and binaural beats. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried binaural beats or any other sound therapy for tinnitus? Drop a comment below. What worked for you? What didn't? And what did you wish you'd known sooner? Your experiences can help others who are searching for real answers and not just falling for the hype. Look, I'm not saying you'll hurt yourself listening to binaural beats here. If you find them relaxing, if they help you sleep or reduce stress, go for it. But please, don't use them as a replacement for proven treatments for tinnitus. If tinnitus is affecting your quality of life, here's what I recommend based on more than 20 years of clinical experience. See an audiologist that specializes in tinnitus care. Look for the certificate holder in tinnitus management, or CBHT credential from the American Board of Audiology. Those audiologists will have advanced training in tinnitus care. They are the ones that will be able to provide evidence-based care such as cognitive behavioral therapy, sound therapy, hearing aids programmed correctly for your tinnitus, or TRT. And if you meet the criteria, ask them about bimodal neuromodulation devices like Linear. If medical or other causes of your tinnitus are identified, they will also be able to refer you to the best professionals for your needs. And always be skeptical of online miracle cures. If something sounds too good to be true, remember, it probably is. You deserve treatment that's been validated through rigorous research and not just marketed with fancy neuroscience words and cherry-picked data. Your tinnitus is real, your suffering is real, and you deserve real solutions backed by real science. If you're ready to stop guessing which tinnitus treatment works, visit our Learning Center. You'll find breakdowns of what's real, what's hype, and how modern tinnitus therapies, including that FDA approval process, actually works. You can find it there. And if you're in Utah, you can schedule a tinnitus appointment right there on our website. I'll leave links below. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'll be doing more videos debunking tinnitus myths and explaining what actually works. Drop a comment if you have a question, and remember, always consult with a healthcare professional about your tinnitus treatment options. Thanks for watching.